ever since I was younger, I've always been interested in the Salem Witch Trials, and I still am to today. The Salem Witch Trials, as you know, was a big mass hysteria in Salem, Massachusetts, where people were convicted of witchcraft. Did it happen? Did it not happen? I'm going to talk to you guys about it today. Join me. Hello everybody, Nick Sarlo here from Shadowhunters Paranormal Investigation and Events. I know it's been a while since we have uploaded anything on YouTube, but we are back uploading. We were just taking a small break. Right now though, we are filming for Paraflix, and we are filming for our brand new TV series on Paraflix. It's a pure investigation series, and you guys can see all of our new episodes on Paraflix. If you guys want, please consider subscribing to Paraflix. It's $9.99 a month, but we still will be uploading different investigations or smaller investigations to YouTube. So we're going to be using both platforms. So today I am going to be talking all about the Salem Witch Trials. I've always been interested in the Salem Witch Trials of what really happened. Was it mass hysteria for no reason? Was there really witchcraft? Was there not really witchcraft? I did find some very interesting information from history.com. So the Salem Witch Trials, as you guys know, started in January of 1692 after a group of young girls in the Salem Village, Massachusetts, claimed to be possessed by the devil and accused several women in the Salem, Massachusetts area of witchcraft. As a wave of hysteria spread throughout the colonial Massachusetts, a special court convened in Salem to hear the cases. The first convicted witch, Bridget Bishop, was hanged that June. 18 other girls followed Bishop to Salem's Gallows Hill, while some 150 more men, women, and children were also accused over the next several months. By September 1692, the hysteria had begun, and the public opinion turned against the trials, though the Massachusetts General Court later annulled guilty verdicts against the accused witches and granted indemnities to their families, bitterness, and in the community. And the painful legacy for the Salem Witch Trials would endure for centuries. So pretty much with the Salem Witch Trials, it all started with a couple of girls who were having violent outrages. They were having fits of rage. They were crying. They were screaming. People started saying that they were talking in tongues. They were talking in different languages. Now, a lot with the Salem Witch Trials, it's kind of like the game telephone. You say one thing, and then it comes out another thing, and it keeps going. Well, with the Salem Witch Trials, I feel it was the same way, because people were saying this happened, but some people were saying this happened, or this didn't happen, and this did happen. So pretty much if you had any sort of belief in the supernatural or the paranormal, you would be tried as a witch. So if I was born in that era, I probably would have been tried also. A lot of people who are my paranormal friends or other paranormal groups, they probably would have been tried too, because they have a knack for the paranormal, they have a knack for the supernatural, and they love all that kind of stuff. So the Salem Witch Trials started in January 1692 in the colonial town New England, which would be Massachusetts, and then today that would actually be called Danvers, Massachusetts. So pretty much during that time too, there was smallpox, there was the fear of Native American tribes coming after them in that Salem town pretty much during that time. So there was a lot going on during that time than just the Salem Witch Trials, and then you have all this other stuff topped onto it. So the Salem Witch Trials would be very suspicious towards their neighbors, as well as the fear of outsiders. So if you were an outsider and you're randomly going into Salem, better be careful, because they're gonna try you as a witch. Now this I found very, very interesting. So back in 1692, or in that age era, in an effort to explain by scientific means the strange affiliations suffered by those bewitched, Salem residents in 1692, a study published in the Science magazine in 1976 cited the fungus ergot, which is found in rye, wheat, and other cereals, which toxicologists say can cause symptoms such as delusions, vomiting, and muscle spasms. So could that be the real reason why the Salem Witch Trials actually happened? Was because of this fungus called ergot that was found in wheat, making people vomit, act very strange, muscle spasm, delusions, which was what a lot of these girls and men and children had seen. They were seeing delusions, they were having all these symptoms. Could that have been why those Salem Witch Trials even started in the first place? I thought that was very, very interesting. So to continue on, like I said, it started in January 1692. 9-year-old Elizabeth Betty Paris and 11-year-old Abigail Williams, the daughter and niece Samuel Paris, minister of the Salem village, began having fits, including violent contortions and uncontrollable outbursts of screaming. After a local doctor, William Griggs, diagnosed bewitchment, other young girls in the community began to exhibit similar symptoms. So pretty much they would have these outrageous fits. They would start crying, they would start screaming. After these other girls started having these same symptoms. So some of the other girls included Ann Putman Jr., Mercy Lewis, Elizabeth Hubbard, and Mary Walcott and Mary Warren. In late February, arrest warrants were issued for the Paris Caribbean slave to Buddha, along with 2 other women, the homeless beggar Sarah Good and the poor elderly Sarah Osborne, whom the girls accused of bewitching them. So pretty much what the girls did is they blamed these 3 women of saying they're the ones who are doing this, they're the ones who had made us do this. The 3 accused witches were brought before Jonathan Corwin and Jonathan Hawthorne and questioned, even as their accusers appeared in the courtroom in a grand display of spasms, contortions, screaming. So pretty much the girls were brought in, the 3 that were accused of bewitching these girls, and they were, even in the courtroom, they were screaming, they were crying, they were doing contortions, and they were also withering. Though Good and Osborne denied their guilt, Tabuda confessed, likely seeking to save herself from certain conviction by acting as an informer. She claimed there were other witches acting alongside her in service of the devil against the Puritans. As the hysteria spread through the community and beyond into the rest of Massachusetts, a number of others were accused, including Martha Corey and Rebecca Nurse, both regarded as upstating members of the church and the community. So pretty much think of today, it would almost be like the mayor's office and the board members along with it, or anybody that's part of the church. So can you imagine being part of the church? You know, you go to church every day, but then you're also being accused of witchcraft, which people have done these days. You know, people go to church, but people still go ghost hunting. People go to church, or, you know, you can believe in what you want to believe in. But back then, if you were to do that, you would be tried as a witch. It's it was a big no-no pretty much back then. There were some very gruesome ways that the witches were punished. Like, a lot of the witches were hung. A lot of the witches also, now this mostly happened to men, is they would kind of have a thing where they would put a whole bunch of rocks on you, and they would kind of like bury you in rocks, so almost kind of like you were suffocating. But that really only happened to men. And there were men that were tried. There were men, women, and children. They were all tried. It didn't matter what you were back then. If you did something, if you started crying out, if you were having bits of rage or anything like that, if you believed in the supernatural, you were tried as a witch. Now, come January 1697, that's when everything stopped. The Salem Witch Trials were over. They kind of commemorated the Salem Witch Trials as being a horrendous time, meaning they kind of knew that they were wrong, so they kind of made like a memorial for them to say that they were sorry and all that. Well, that doesn't cut it. Like, you still, what happened back then in 1692 all the way to 1697, that was terrible. So to make something saying, oh, you know, we're sorry, we shouldn't have did this. Well, no kidding, you shouldn't have did this. So with the Salem Witch Trials, if I could go back in time, I would love to. I would love to go back to that area. I would still love to visit Salem, Massachusetts. We would love to do some paranormal investigations there. You can actually go to Salem today and you can see the old courthouse. You can see one of the judge's house. You can go in there and everything is all set up all the way back from when the trials first started. And I believe they still have kind of the gallows where some of the witches were hung. I could be wrong though. But if you guys have ever been to Salem, Massachusetts, let me know in the comments below. We read all the comments and we try to reply back to all of them and like the comments also. Now, Hollywood has kind of done a lot of stuff with the Salem Witch Trials too. If you guys ever seen Hocus Pocus, it's one of my favorite Disney movies from when I was a kid. Hocus Pocus has done a lot of stuff in Salem. Actually, the filming location is in Salem, Massachusetts. And you can actually go to these locations to take pictures, videos, and all that. Another of the Salem Witch Trials was The Covenant. The Covenant wasn't a bad movie. I think it was made in like 2002. But it shows like descendants of the Salem Witch Trials and all that. And if you guys haven't seen it, I definitely recommend go see the movie. It's not bad. And there's a couple other movies out there that kind of have to do with the Salem Witch Trials, or just kind of copying what the Salem Witch Trials were. So if you guys have any interesting facts about Salem that I didn't cover, or the Salem Witch Trials, just let me know. Leave a comment below. Like I said, we read all the comments and all that. And thank you guys so much for joining me on YouTube, and I will see you guys later.